On this week's episode of Friend Code, we're talking about Switch's November releases and Nintendo's financials. Hello everyone, welcome to Friend Code. My name is Michael Damiani. I am your moderator, and today I am joined by Mr. Kyle Bosman.
Hello.
Mr. Daniel Budworth.
Hello.
And we got a little bit of news. A little slow week on news. For
Nintendo
news. Yeah, for Nintendo news. There's an event going on right now, Paris Games Week, so plenty of gaming news coming out of that. But...
What about Super Mario Galaxy? Sorry, Odyssey.
Oh, Galaxy.
No, Super Mario Odyssey.
There's this little game called Super Mario Odyssey.
The biggest game in the year.
The biggest game of the year.
Yeah, why aren't we talking about that?
Define biggest game, Kyle Bosman.
The most important and influential game of the year.
Wow. Bold statement from Kyle Bosman.
Yep.
But a good question. Why are we not talking about it? It just came out this past Friday.
Yep.
We're giving everyone a bit of time to get through it. Not just us, the rest of the allies, but also those of you, the viewers. So
get your moons.
Next episode, very high probability, there'll be in-depth Mario Odyssey discussion. So please, if you can, try and finish it so that you can enjoy that episode.
Yep.
It's not really that much housekeeping, actually. I didn't see any corrections for last episode, so
you were perfect.
I was perfect.
Okay.
I love this streak. Got to keep that streak going. Got to keep that perfect streak going. And just right now, it's going to be like a minimum of 30 corrections for this episode. But as
first
always,
correction.
Yeah, that'll be the first correction. Damiani, there was not 30 corrections. Give me some credit. Anyway, I like to start every episode off with a segment called Dear Nintendo, where we go through an issue of Nintendo Power. We go back in time to the past, a little gateway into what used to be. And we got an issue here, and it's kind of relevant because Bosman said Galaxy.
This is what put it in my head.
This is what put it in his head because we got this volume of Nintendo Power with Super Mario Galaxy 2 on the cover. Mario and Yoshi there, good duo. And as Kyle always likes to know, what volume number? When did this come out? This is the May 2010 Subscriber Edition, volume 2, volume 254. Good.
So Galaxy 2 was revealed at E3 of that year, was it not?
It was revealed in I forget. I'm not gonna say because I want a correction.
Sure.
But it was definitely it came out that year, so it was definitely revealed before then. I forget. I only remember Galaxy, original Galaxy stuff like that. The whole timetable 2 was very quickly after.
It's just interesting. That's the May issue, and we have Galaxy 2 already.
We're close. Yeah, it's getting close to E3 2010, which 2010. This is we still going strong here. Wii's in a good place in 2010. Nintendo's in a good place.
The slump is starting though.
But it's getting there.
Yep.
We are starting to get to that point where people are wondering, is Wii sales slowing?
Yeah.
Or is Xbox 360 and PS3 catching up?
Yeah. This is when we think Wii HD is happening.
Yeah, this is when those rumors start to begin.
Well, Pactor things.
Yeah, this is the great Pactor. Wii HD is coming, everybody. But anyway, let's dive into and for those of you who weren't on the episode 2 episodes ago, they changed the name of Players Pulse to Pulse at some point.
This is the Attitude Era.
Yeah. So Kyle was on this.
Yeah.
You weren't on this yet.
Attitude Era.
And Editor-in-Chief Chris Slate. But we got some letters here. Let's go through them. I don't know if Kyle sees this. Don't hassle the Hoff little thing with this little sprite work right here.
Mm-hmm.
For what? Was that related to?
I don't know if this is a letter or not. Let's just read this.
Okay.
It is a letter. I'm sorry.
Great.
All right, so don't hassle the Hoff. Using my super awesome powers, I was able to get inside my copy of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. It was awesome at first, but now I've got a medieval mob after me. Should I lose them in the Shadow Temple and potentially get eaten by a Re-Dead, or should I accidentally fry them in Death Mountain? And then, if I survive, should I file a lawsuit against Link? From Tristan O. The Hoff says, don't do either. I know a guy who knows a guy. Head to the ranch in the center of Hyrule Field and ask for Ingo. He'll get you in touch with the right person. Something or other dwarf. To make that mob go away permanently. Now, there's a chance that you'll end up getting cursed, and you and your entire family will be turned into spiders. But really, who ever heard of something like that happening? Oh, and if you really want to avoid angry mobs, stop looking at all the ladies with your lens of truth already, will ya?
Whoa.
What?
Who is the Hoff?
Who is the Hoff? Reveal
So this sounds
yourself.
like an ongoing segment of
Yes.
Pulse.
Yes. This is what I'm saying. They have attitude right now.
This is the height of attitude right here.
Yeah.
I need Huber for what's like the wrestling equivalent of this. Like, this is, wow.
The Hoff.
The Hoff just going off.
And there's a Mega Man sprite of the Hoff.
Jeez.
He's a guy with glasses and a goatee.
Look at that.
He's mean.
Yeah, he's mean.
Yeah, it's totally Mega Man, isn't it?
Yeah.
All the proportions.
Yeah, good catch there, Kyle. Very nice. All right. Yoshi.
Okay.
Pal or pawn?
Ooh, I like this.
I think Yoshi is being used as a servant. Think about it. The only time Mario has really saved the guy is in Super Mario World. But Yoshi has been saving his tush for years. And if you really think about it, Yoshi has defended Mario since the plumber was a baby in the Yoshi's Island games, plural. Mario doesn't even treat him with respect, often sacrificing Yoshi after he's done using him.
Yeah.
The worst part is that Luigi, the green moocher, the lowest of the low, also takes advantage of Yoshi. I think the bros had better start giving piggyback rides, or Yoshi should hire Phoenix Wright and sue for physical and emotional distress. Defender of the green.
So Nintendo plucked this one. They said, yeah, that's good to print it.
It's good to print.
Did they respond?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it all comes down to the player, doesn't it? You can avoid putting Yoshi in unnecessary danger and protect them all the way to an end of a level, or you can be like me and hop off the little green guy to reach a high platform, leaving him to plummet into a pit. Mario is innocent. The guilty one, plot twist, was you all along. Live with your shame. This is Nintendo.
Can you believe this?
They published it.
What a
Your
time.
shame.
Live with your shame.
Riding high.
You're probably 12 years old.
I miss Player's Pulse. Pulse is too heavy. But to be honest with you, this is one of the things that weirds me out about Galaxy 2, is I think it was almost like too late to ride Yoshi. Yoshi had become his own character at this point. You could you could be him in Mario Golf and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird to ride Yoshi after a certain point when he's already his own character.
Kids wouldn't understand that. If they'd played those other games, they'd be like, why is Mario riding Yoshi? And then when you could just throw him into a pit, you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
Mario just killed Yoshi. You'd expect like a penalty.
Yeah.
No penalty whatsoever. Mario just goes on his merry way.
Yeah.
Merry Mario.
It was before we knew that Mario actually popped Yoshi in the back of the head whenever he wanted to use his tongue, too.
I have a letter here from someone named Kyle.
Okay.
One of the most underrated games ever is Wario Land Shake It.
Definitely not me. That's definitely not me.
I have always been a huge fan of 2D platformers.
Yep.
And it is great to play a Nintendo-published one on a home console for the first time in years. I love the game's incredible graphics, music, and all of the extra missions to complete. I hope that we get another Wario Land on Wii that's as good as this one.
Oh.
Kyle does not like this.
You never got another Wario Land.
Never
ever.
got another Wario.
7 years later, Kyle,
WarioWare.
nothing. Have either of you played that game?
Which one?
I played it for
Wario
Shake
Land
It.
Shake It?
Yeah.
No, I didn't play... maybe I played it at a preview event, actually, but
Yeah.
I never played it when it came out.
It's weird. I mean, maybe I should. Maybe it is right up my alley, but there was just something so unappealing about it at the time. I think the shaking. I think we were, at this point, sick of shaking.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't
'Cause
want
it's
it
you
anymore.
literally, grab a chest and shake, and
Yeah.
coins fly out. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It might be worth a playthrough today, but at the time, yeah, it was just...
Now we get in the group stream an idea.
Yeah.
Wario Land Shake It is definitely being nominated.
I love the art.
Yeah, it's a good piece of art.
Yeah.
Wario posing there.
The
with
same
the
guys that went on
fingers.
to make the Kirby and Yoshi games.
Oh.
Okay.
Good feel.
Yeah.
All right. This whole segment's on what games do you think are underrated. Sorry. The Chibi Robo series is often overlooked.
Yeah.
The hardcore crowd write it off as kiddie shovelware. But the games have a great old school concept and a ton of charm. They are as addictive as Animal Crossing once you give them a chance, despite the game's goal of cleaning for happy points. I hope to see more Chibi Robo games down the road. No name given. Sorry. Chibi Robo future.
Yeah.
Chiro is a weird franchise though, because they they almost have turned it into like the shovelware that they bring up.
So the Walmart only DS game I think is out at that point, or is that later?
No, it should be out by then.
Okay, and then after that was what's it called? Whiplash?
Right, Ziplash.
Ziplash.
What was the one? What's the most recent one?
Ziplash.
Ziplash.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they
So
have
you're right,
that
Blood.
photo thing.
It eventually became shovelware, right? Oh, you're right. I played that photo game. I totally forgot about that. Photo Finder, I think it is.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I forgot I played that entirely.
Chibi Robo will be in the next Smash Brothers.
And I think there's another one that came out on DS, but only in Japan.
I think that might be the Walmart only game. Same game.
No. It's a different. I'm pretty sure
Whoa.
it's a different
To
game.
be honest,
Okay.
I'm one of those. I didn't think it was Kitty. I just thought I looked at it and I just judged it based on its looks initially. And I guess I
No,
missed
the
out.
original game is super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like sequels have kind of lost that. Yeah,
First game's the best.
some of the narrative and stuff they had going on with the
Yeah.
family.
One of the most underrated games of all time is Pokemon Puzzle League for Nintendo 64.
Okay.
The game is amazing. Once you start playing, it's almost impossible to stop. In my opinion, Pokemon Puzzle League is the best puzzle game on the N64 and is sadly underappreciated. No name given. Kyle, what's your experience, if any, with Pokemon Puzzle League for Nintendo 64?
0.
0.
Yep.
Bloodworth, have
Isn't
you
that
touched
the
it?
same game as Tetris Attack? It's just Pokemon themed.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah, but still 0.
And I'm going to round out an average with 0 as well. So,
I've seen it recommended
underrated.
many times,
Yeah.
and I think it's got a cool progression to it, is what the Pokemon license adds to it.
Nice.
And it's on Wii U eShop.
Oh, Virtual Console Source?
Yep.
Nice. Group stream nomination.
Yeah.
Pokemon Puzzle League.
Yeah, it's another one that I don't have a good excuse for not playing it, for sure.
Saw a lot of like coverage of it back in the day, but
Yeah.
I just never like really played. I hadn't actually got during the time period of when it came out. I was not really into Pokemon at all, so that's my
Well,
excuse.
too cool. For me, I just don't like puzzle games besides Tetris.
That too. I'm not like games like Money Puzzle Exchange and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like or columns and
Like when
Tetris is about my extent of anything like
Yeah,
that.
when I can go on an adventure, why would I choose to just grind a puzzle for hours and hours? That's kind of how I feel.
Did you play Sonic Mania?
Yes.
Did you play the part where you have to play like a puzzle game as a boss battle?
Yeah.
Was that a pretty good moment though?
It's a great moment.
Okay, so it can be an adventure game. Just the whole game can't be an adventure, I guess.
Yeah.
Or a puzzle, you mean?
What's that?
So the whole game can't be an adventure?
The whole game
a whole
can't be an
puzzle
adventure.
game can't be like an adventure style.
Oh.
A puzzle game cannot be a puzzle game in its entirety. It can't really be an adventure game, except one game does come to mind.
What game is that?
Captain Toad. Treasure Tracker.
I'm sorry, that game is strictly a puzzle game.
Puzzle game with adventure elements. Oh gosh. Please tell me you saw that part in Odyssey, Kyle. Anyway, we won't say it. When I think of a game being underrated, I immediately think of Zelda 2.
Nice. Good pick.
This next line is
Great
going to
pick.
make us laugh because of our eternal debate over Captain Toad.
Okay.
This is going to make a new debate. Sure, it's a platformer. And yes, it's one of the most difficult games in the NES library. But it's an amazing title. Zelda 2 introduced the series to NPCs, and the magic system actually didn't. I guess if you... No, NPCs are in Zelda 1.
Yeah.
But magic system, yeah.
Okay.
Inspired a lot of games like the NES Rambo. Wait, what?
What?
I need to play this game. I need to play NES Rambo right now.
Yep.
I have a hard time believing it inspired NES.
Besides, who could forget I Am Error? Matt Caboose.
Who could forget I'm Error?
There is platforming in Zelda 2. That is not a platforming game.
Yeah, I would say that the platforming is what makes that game hard, though.
Some people argue the combat's what makes it hard. People had so many people complain about how the combat works.
Once
in
you
that
get to a
game.
dungeon, man, yeah.
That is a game that came up in the last episode, Franco's. It was one of the patrons' pulse questions. Would we like to see a Zelda 2 remake like Samus Returns? I am fully on board for something
That'd be
like
so
that.
cool. That would really be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the last time that I played through Zelda 2 and ended up not really finishing it, it was because not the Great Palace itself But the road to the Great Palace is all like invisible eyeball
Death Valley.
Medusa head things, and it's like you're trying to make these jumps, and like some invisible
great
thing hits
point.
you, and you fall in the lava, and you're dead.
Save your magic for your fairy. Just bypass all that stuff. Because if you get to the Great Palace, when you get a game over, you can still start from there.
Yeah.
You don't have to backtrack to get there. So good stuff.
Best dungeon theme is all the two.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun,
It was really great when they brought that back for Smash.
Yeah, the Smash Brothers version was great. One last one here.
Okay.
Because this is one I think is completely overrated, if anyone thinks this is a good game.
Wait, this person said underrated.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
disagree with them.
All right.
I'm amazed at how underrated Super Mario Land for the Game Boy is. Nobody ever mentions it at all. Exploding Koopas, awesome underground theme, flying in a plane and riding in a submarine, awesome, from
Yeah.
Derek.
What's your problem?
Super Mario Land is one of the worst platformers in terms of mechanics.
Why?
The platforming mechanics in that game are so bad. It was so impossible to control Mario in that game. It handles
impossible?
It is really bad. I don't even count it as a Mario game.
So nobody
it just
can beat
uses
it.
Mario imagery, but like its platform mechanics are so far removed from any other Mario game. It is the real Mario 2 of the series, like the real outcast, the black sheep. Like Super Mario Brothers 2 is not the outcast. It's Super Mario Land. I did not like playing that game. Mario's so small and judging no, it was not fun.
Good music.
Good music, I'll give it that. Good music, and those sequences were cool.
Yeah.
Submarine and flying.
The temple.
Yeah, I like that. I just don't like the platforming in that game.
Wow.
Not a fan of that.
You're on an adventure. You're on an adventure in that game.
Mario the Explorer. Come a long way from that, haven't we?
No, it's a good
Mario
game.
Land.
Mario Land's a good game. It belongs on the underrated
I
list.
think we might need to settle it on Mario Land. Super
Sure.
Mario Land
Didn't you
someday.
play it recently? You played two.
I played 2 recently.
Which is
That's
really
a
good.
good. See, that's a
Two
good
is
one.
very, very
I
There you
played
go.
1 forever.
6 golden coins. Good one.
Yeah.
Let's go wrap it up for our Dear Nintendo segment. Mm-hmm. Good stuff there. Our first topic for today, we're gonna talk about some November releases because we got a release date for Rocket League. It was confirmed that Rocket League will be coming out on the eShop on November 14th for $19.99 for $20. And it has the Switch exclusive content, the battle cars, the Mario and Luigi car, the Samus car, and they also, for those of you who didn't see it before, it will have cross-platform play with the PC and Xbox One, so you could play with your friends on those
PC
systems.
and Xbox. Okay.
Yeah, so PC and Xbox, obviously no PS4 because we know the situation with Sony. So that is a new addition to the lineup of November Switch games, which now include, in addition to Rocket League, which again is November 14th, we have Doom on November 10th for $59.99 full price. On November 14th as well will be LA Noire for $49.99, so $10 less.
Anyone had coverage of that game?
Really? I've not seen any.
Gameplay? You mean like video footage of it?
Yeah, or even
or any
impressions.
hands-on.
Yeah, hands-on
Yeah.
impressions.
Because we've had plenty of chances to see Doom and Skyrim.
You've seen Doom? Yeah, you did a
I
report
played
on
Doom,
it,
yeah.
didn't
Oh
you?
yeah. And last but not least, Skyrim on November 17th, $59.99, also has some Nintendo exclusive bonus content in there.
All right, so here's the question.
All right, Kyle, what's the question?
At the end of November, what is number 1 on the Nintendo Nintendo Store?
So
digital sales.
Now that Rocket League has been thrown in there,
Yeah.
I'm nervous. I originally said Skyrim.
Yeah.
Our original
Yeah.
bet was I said Skyrim would be top 10 NPD.
Yeah.
For November and be the number 1 selling Switch game, possibly. I said Odyssey might still beat it, but it would
Odyssey's
be
gonna beat it.
it would be the number 1 November release sales. Now with Rocket League, I don't know. It's like all bets are off.
Yeah.
It's like the scene from Lethal Weapon movie when they're betting on Riggs who's gonna win the chase, and they find out he's on foot. He goes, "I don't know anything about that. All bets are off. All bets are off." So
Right.
new information means bet has to be amended.
Okay.
So now with this in mind, we got to pick one. Who's winning, Kyle?
Is there not a first-party game that month?
I mean,
Is it because Xenoblade is the first?
Xenoblade
Yeah.
is December 1st.
Sure.
I don't know about any of the smaller releases. Blood. I didn't check it. These are like
Yeah,
I
I
was
mean,
basically going for like the
There's
third
like
party
a
list.
dozen small releases every
Yeah,
week,
yeah.
so
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any like first party like things because Mario just came out and then Xenoblade. I don't think there's anything coming. In between.
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Ultra Sun,
But
Ultra
that's
Moon.
for 3DS.
3DS.
Yep.
I'm talking about Switch.
Yeah, but
But Kyle wants to give shout-outs because Pokemon will win the month.
Yeah.
So there's your winner right there. Kyle is like betting.
Okay, so I think I'll take this one. At the end of November, the last day of November, we check best-selling games. Mario is still number 1.
Okay, so Mario Odyssey will still be number 1.
Yeah.
Blood, what do you think?
Yeah, Mario is an interesting choice because I was only looking at those.
I feel like we should say excluding Mario then, Kyle. We should pick from these 4.
All right, fine.
That's what people really want to know.
Rocket League will beat
Yeah.
Skyrim.
Okay, yeah, from LA Noire, Skyrim, Doom, and Rocket League, which of those 4 will end up the highest at the end of November on the eShop charts?
On the eShop charts, huh?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how we're going.
I mean, I think Rocket League's got multiple advantages. I think Doom is going to do really well. I think Skyrim's going to do really well. But I think Rocket League is going to have fewer people that care about, I already have that game, you know?
Yeah.
People like, because it's just a game you just go back to anyways, over and over again. And I think especially like with the holidays coming up and people traveling, like, it's going to be easier to just take the Switch with them than to grab their PS4 or Xbox or whatever. And then, the multiplayer is a big part of that. And people like, yeah, as you're saying, like, as dumb as those little extra skins and stuff sound, like, people are really into all the flags and all the bonus things that are in Rocket League. And it's cheaper than the rest.
Yeah.
by
That's
far.
a big point.
And it's actually, Damiani, incredibly interesting to me that it's cross-compatible with the Xbox version. Because it wasn't clear before if Sony simply didn't want to be cross-compatible with Xbox or any other consoles. And so now it's officially there that Sony just doesn't want to deal with other consoles.
Yeah, I mean, this could be an individual case, but evidence kind of points. The more rational explanation is Sony doesn't want to play ball with anyone else. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is like the first opportunity to test that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I guess
Sony,
you could
Sony
say
will
Minecraft.
cross-platform with Steam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they'll cross platform with but they will not any other console's been like off limits
Yeah.
for
Sure.
Sony.
I guess Minecraft would be the first example, and this would be the second. So yeah, that's interesting.
I will go with, I'm going to go with Rocket League as well, just because that point you made, Bloodworth, reiterating that's 1999. I think that gives it that's the biggest advantage it has.
Yeah.
And they all come out middle of the month, so it's definitely gonna. Yeah, I think it's the safest bet right there.
NPD's is revenue. It could still break that top 10.
Oh yeah, well that's our side bet.
Yeah.
Like, so we have
Who's we?
eShop.
Who's
you,
we?
You and me.
We do?
We have fun, it's for fun. There's like no stake.
I don't remember this.
You said top 20. You remember you said it would be in the top 20. You said Skyrim would only be in the top 20 for MPD. Would not be in the top 10.
I totally forgot about
You
this.
did.
I'll double down though.
Yeah, but we have no stakes. It's just
Yeah.
for fun.
Okay.
So I say
Great.
top 10. That's not changing. We can't change those bets. But
Yeah.
this is for eShop charts, and I think Rocket League's gonna win that hands down.
Great.
So we'll follow up on that at the
End of November.
And whatever episodes after that, we'll keep tabs on that. Other bit of news. Two-parter here rolled into one to condense this down.
A one-parter.
Nintendo's second quarter results for fiscal year for 2018. Sorry, and September NPD numbers. So we're gonna talk about that. First of all, with the second quarter results for Nintendo, Switch has now moved 7.63 units lifetime to date.
7.63 units? What?
63 million.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I forgot the million. Million's pretty important there, everyone.
So important.
7.63 M. That's how it's written, million. It's a lot. It's a good number.
Yeah.
They had to bump up their forecast a little bit as well because it's doing so well. And in fact, that one of the headlines I read today was that by April of next year, it is entirely possible that Switch sales lifetime to date will beat out the complete life sales of the Wii U.
They
worldwide.
will. Do you remember when the Wii U
Oof.
just topped off at 10 mil and then like
Oof.
nothing happened after it?
Yeah.
What, is it probably at like 11 or 12?
It's like a 13
okay.
something or 12 something. It's close.
It
So-
just stuck at 10 for so long. It was such a bummer. And
Yeah.
so to see it get, I constantly forget that the Switch came out in March.
Oh, yeah.
Every memory I have is of it coming out
Playing
last
through
year.
Odyssey, I'm like, man, it's like it's year 2 of Switch. Oh, wait, Switch is not even a year old yet.
Yeah.
Just because instinctively it's like, oh, Mario usually comes out like year 2 or 3. It's like
crazy.
Nope.
Yeah.
We're not even a year in. So the breakdown of those hardware sales for worldwide, Japan got 1.95 million sales. America is leading with 3.11 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how they put other. Apologies to the rest of the world, but you are classified as other by Nintendo. So every other territory where Switch is sold, 2.56 million. So
Well, actually, that is crazy. Japan was 1.7, you said?
1.95, so almost 2.
1.95.
So yeah, Japan's pretty close to the rest of the world. Other than
Yeah,
the US,
that's actually surprising. That's crazy.
which is, if you ever, all the stories, all the discussion you ever hear about when a Japanese company cares more about, not more, but cares significantly about their home territory, how their products do there, and sometimes will base decisions around that. This is sometimes the reason why.
Yeah.
Because they sell so much in their home
That's a big
territory.
portion, yeah.
They cannot neglect it. It is still a really big market in Japan. So that the broad news here is that Switch is doing pretty well. It's still going strong. No signs of slowing down. And they gave us a nice software breakdown of the software that's been released so far.
Nice.
In less than a year of the Switch's life.
By the way, I love this. I love that Nintendo is willing to say this title sold this many.
This has been very generous of them and very useful. Like I love how they do this, especially with how NPD's cracked down and changed over the last few years. So in terms of software, these are worldwide numbers, by the way. Breath of the Wild's leading the pack with 4.7 million units. Right on its heels, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with 4.2. So there's a chance Mario Kart might catch.
It's going to, dude.
With that holiday, the holidays will be interesting.
And you add that to like the sales 8 already made. Like Deluxe was a cheap game to develop.
Yeah.
You know, you just took your Wii U game and you
cheaper to develop than Breath of the Wild from scratch.
Yeah.
Course, yes.
And so just think the profits on that. That's crazy.
The good news is I think the quote was Miyamoto was on record saying that like Zelda had to sell whatever amount to break even in terms of the production cost of that game. It is at 4.7 million. I believe it's like almost double what it needed to sell at this point. They had to sell like 2.5 million copies to break even on its development cost.
Whoa! Did that game have like a skinny budget?
Had like it cost estimates were around 60 to 80 million possibly. They have not given the number out.
Yeah.
There's just a quote out there about how many copies it supposedly has to sell, and people did the math from that. So at 4.7 million, it's definitely above that mark.
We talked a lot actually about how Sony and Xbox take a cut of sales, but Nintendo's not taking a cut out of Nintendo, so I guess why that would make sense.
Well, I mean,
You'd have to sell fewer copies.
Nintendo also sells their games at retail, so they still lose a cut to that.
Yeah, but they don't lose a cut to Nintendo.
Oh, of course. Well, maybe there could be secret Nintendo.
Well, it was kind of like how at Viacom we'd have to like spend some of our budget.
Like, you got to pay us even though we're part of the same company.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like that, but yeah.
Well, for people that don't understand, like it was kind of ridiculous because there is like an empty room downstairs that nobody was using. And we put lights in there and started shooting the podcast in there, and then eventually corporate got wind of it, and it was a studio, and then suddenly like other people wanted to use the studio, and then suddenly we were getting charged against a budget for using studio time for a room that we just put lights in.
We shot Final Bosman in there too. We had to pay for the Final Bosman time.
That was something else.
Yeah.
Next up in the third best selling, Splatoon 2. 3.61 million units.
That's a lot, man.
Pretty good for Splatoon 2. Doing pretty well. Not so far behind those other titles. So yeah, that's probably most definitely will be a Splatoon 3.
I still haven't gotten to properly like partake in a Splatfest. It's hilarious.
Wow,
how many have there been? How many?
It's been like 3 or 4 now.
Oh, okay. Do you think there'll be a Splatoon 3 this generation?
Oh, I don't know about this generation. But
I think they'll just keep adding to this platform for the rest of the Switch's life.
Possibly, but I do feel like Splatoon 3 is happening at some point.
Sure.
But yeah, good stuff from Splatoon. Next up, a little lower sales. 1-2 Switch at 1.37 million. That's still good. Broke a million.
It's a lot.
It was a launch title, so definitely got help from being a launch title.
Yeah.
We were talking before we recorded this that I felt that this game was clearly designed to be a launch game.
Yeah.
That's all.
Like, didn't
Yeah.
Bomberman do more than that?
This is only Nintendo first party, so they don't list the other ones.
I think
But
Bomberman did over a mil.
Bomberman, I'm pretty sure, has done more than that. And then rounding it out for the top 5, ARMS, 1.35 million. So ARMS has broken a million worldwide.
Sure.
But being the lowest of these 5, and some of the talk circulating around ARMS after it was released, do you think it did well enough both critically and commercially, now that you know how much it's sold, do you think there'll be an ARMS 2, basically? Or will ARMS continue as a series? Or do you think it's more safe to say, do you believe more it's going to be a one and done?
I think Nintendo's going to say to that team, hey, why don't you make us another Mario Kart? Same team, right? It's the Mario Kart 8 team. I think they're going to go, hey, why don't you make another one of those? Like, that's the right call to make. I don't think ARMS is a franchise that will continue throughout this Switch's life.
I mean, considering how Nintendo tends to do things, unless it's something mega blockbuster like Pokemon or Mario, like, they don't do a lot of, like, within the same generation sequels.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
Oh,
so-
yeah, that's not their MO.
And I think like the Mario Kart team probably was already planning to be on to Mario Kart 9 as soon as they finished ARMS. You know, there's the group that's going to keep making characters and DLC stuff. But I don't know that there was a huge expectation. I think there's probably more expectation than what it got. There definitely certain things that like work against ARMS, like the motion controls, or that people have kind of turned their back on. Although I think it was, to me, it was cool to see that like Nintendo was like, yeah, we're actually gonna keep making motion control games once in a while when it makes sense. So
yeah. Even if it doesn't have a future in terms of like future games, even if it's next generation or whatever, I'm so glad they did it.
Yeah.
And I still think it was a worthy use of their time, whatever the studio behind it, the team development team behind it, because who knows? Like it still sold over 1 million copies, which is some games wish they could sell that much
On their first entry.
Yeah, on their first entry.
Yeah.
And like you have to try sometimes, and like with Nintendo, they have the means to try.
Yeah.
So like good on them. Like I don't think this will discourage Nintendo from trying similar things. That's never been the thing. Like, oh, one game failed, we'll never do anything that's involves risk taking again. That's like completely against the Nintendo mentality there. So I wouldn't fret about it too much.
And all those character designs are so good. Like, that's a valuable property just because you have so many cool looking characters.
They can use the ARMS like media in other forms. Like they can make another game using ARMS characters or something like that. Like it does not. I don't think, even if Nintendo comes out and says they view this as it didn't sell well enough to meet expectations, I would not even write it off as that's the end of like the ARMS property. Period.
Yeah.
Who knows where else they'll show up in and stuff.
like Ziplash.
right.
Yeah. You could just make an ARMS Ziplash game.
Artoon.
ARMS cart.
Can you please make a side-scrolling?
Be cool. I think that'd be cool as a side-scrolling character, actually. Because that's the thing that, I don't know, just like you're punching opponents in distance never feels like you're punching them. Especially when you just have like a fan for your punches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you get a lot of like goofy things that are like, I just want to punch.
I feel like, yeah. I think I would have been more into it if there was like a significant single player adventure or something in that. Like that could have maybe been the hook for me, but that's not what they went with. You know, they went with multiplayer focus.
It's not a failure.
Yeah, no, by no means.
Yeah.
In terms of NPD numbers,
Okay.
which gonna like complement this for the month of September 2017. Here's where we get into the weird stuff with NPD because they go by revenue, not by units sold. So in that technicality, PlayStation 4 led all hardware platforms and consumer spend during September 2017, while Nintendo Switch sold the most units amongst current gen consoles.
Yep.
That last part is important because the number one selling console by units was the Super Nintendo Classic. Super NES Classic. Good stuff, actually.
Yeah.
It is, I know I keep promising I'll follow up on this. Like, everyone wants to know updates and stuff. If there's anything. Stores are still getting it. I see updates from Wario every now and then that, expect allotments to come in. They still sell out really fast though.
Yep.
But I'm seeing more updates about that in the time since its release than I ever saw about the original NES Classic.
Yes.
One thing real quick on the SNES Classic before we move on to the breakdown of stuff. I was getting into a discussion with somebody, I forget who recently, about the appeal to someone like me with the NES and both SNES Classic. I feel like it's something I have to get in during the moment, like when it's brand new. There's like this kind of like craze at the beginning where everyone's playing it, showing it off.
Yeah.
The more time we get away from that, the less like enthusiastic I am about playing it, or that I feel the need to play it. Which is why the NES Classic, when I didn't get one originally, I stopped caring so much. Really, I don't really need it and stuff. So, I guess my question is, do you either you feel that way about the SNES Classic? Do you feel like if you didn't get in on it right away, does time goes on, he's like, I don't really care, I don't really need it? And will this affect, if you believe there's any truth to that, when NES Classic comes out next summer? I think the only reason it will sell out next summer is because scalpers want to try and get in on it again on the game.
Yeah.
I don't think it necessarily is going to be a craze of people who like want to play it again. It's going to be the same system.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the big hook. I could be completely wrong, but
No, I think you're right.
I think the big appeal of it was the time period when it originally came out. That was like the hot moment
Yeah.
for it.
I think it's fair to call it a fad item. I think it's fair to say that despite all those games being timeless, the product itself doesn't have a lot of longevity. I think that's fair, Damiani.
Okay. I did see the thing about with the Nintendo European team that helped make the emulation soft, like all the emulation features.
Oh,
for
yeah.
SNES Classic. They've been doing work for a long time. They got like DS emulation working on Wii U.
Yeah.
Like they're really good. Really good team. They're responsible for all the awesome improvements to the SNES Classic.
Yeah.
Over the NES Classic, like the rewind feature, the faster loading times on the menu compared to NES Classic, just good stuff. Like I hope that they're involved with the whatever virtual console or retro service that Nintendo eventually will offer on Switch, because that team works pretty good miracles with the software. Oh, they're also responsible for getting the FX stuff to emulate some like pretty much correctly on there.
I think that's so cool that there's just a dedicated team on emulation, and that Nintendo trusts them to do what they do, and then they put out great work.
Yeah.
Because the Wii U, a lot of the Wii U emulation's kind of bad.
Yeah, I would say like they did DS, which was like, wow, they got this to work on here.
Meanwhile,
like,
your NES games on Wii U kind of like they're sucky, they're bland.
Oh yeah, good stuff. So sorry, back to NPD real quick. The breakdown. So we have the top 20 here.
Okay.
So software, and then again, this is revenue, not units sold. Destiny 2 won the month.
Yep.
It's also the best-selling game of 2017 now. It overtook everything else. So
in 1 month.
So in 1 month. So sorry, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Sorry, Breath of the Wild.
For Honor.
Not happening. Sorry, For Honor. NBA 2K18. I didn't see a breakdown of platform on that because that did come to Switch as well.
But it did sell very well on Switch.
Okay. Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Where'd you see that?
The eShop. The if you go to like the top
charts,
those charts, it was doing pretty well in there.
All right, nice.
So you're right. I guess I shouldn't say very well without facts, but yeah, I think it did very well.
Madden 18, FIFA 18, so 3 sports styles there. First Switch game, number 5, Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. So that's month 2.
That's not the first Switch game.
Oh, like Switch exclusive.
Okay,
sorry.
because even FIFA.
Thank you for correcting me.
Yeah,
Switch exclusive.
Yep.
First Switch exclusive. Came out at the end of August, so it's the first full month of sales, but it's still released in August, so still charting. Then Marvel.
That's a good game, by the way.
It is a good game.
Yeah.
You should definitely check it out if you haven't. Don't dismiss it. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. 6. I wonder how that will make... I know this is not Nintendo related, but I wonder how that will get people thinking about that game, because the news before this was was selling abysmally everywhere.
Yeah.
That game. So I wonder what this actually translates to here.
It definitely sold abysmally on PC. I think we could confidently say that.
I mean, it sold more than the next one, which is Grand Theft Auto 5, which always sells a decent amount.
Yeah.
But but it still sold lower than the sports games and Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And I think you actually can get some of the numbers to figure out what Mario and Rabbids actually have sold so far. You can kind of
from
ballpark
these 2018
yeah,
reports.
you can ballpark it. So you can kind of guess at what Marvel vs. Capcom actually sold. So whether or not that's good or not, we'll see. NHL 18 is at 8. Breath of the Wild at 9.
Breath of the Wild sticking
And then
around.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege
Yeah.
was 10. But here's the rest of the top 20. Mario Kart 8 was at 11. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah.
Then Metroid Samus Returns at 12.
That's pretty good. 3DS sticking
Yeah.
around, and I'm sure Pokemon will do fine.
Plus, Metroid isn't known to be a big seller.
And I think when they went by like individual, like by just units or something, Nintendo said it actually would place higher. So the revenue thing kind of hurt it because one, it's
for being
cheaper game. Yeah. So they were like, but if you go by units, it's actually a better position. Speaking of Pokemon, 13 was Pokken Tournament DX, another deluxe game. Then at Overwatch, Ark Survival Evolved, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, NBA Live 18, Splatoon 2 at number 18.
Wow.
Still selling. Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, and then good old Minecraft rounding it out at 20.
Actually, it's surprising to see Crash still on there. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, still on there.
Yeah.
But it's good to see there's still like Switch exclusive titles still charting there. Metroid, obviously, it's a good sign for that. But here we go. I mentioned Destiny 2 is now the best-selling game of 2017 after just 1 month of release. Here is that complete top 10 breakdown for you. So Destiny's 1, Ghost Recon Wildlands at number 2.
Oh, this is year to date?
Yeah.
Okay.
NBA 2K18, Madden 18, then Breath of the Wild. So that pretty much confirms the gap between Ghost Recon Wildlands and Breath of the Wild is actually getting larger. Zelda is not closing in on it. In a previous episode, I made a statement about Zelda possibly surpassing that. That's probably not happening.
Breath of the Wildlands.
Grand Theft Auto 5, still selling millions. Like, I don't know if millions are still selling like hotcakes. For Honor, Horizon Zero Dawn, good for that. Injustice 2 still on there. And then number 10, Mass Effect Andromeda. Still top 10 selling games in 2017.
For the year.
For the year, Mass Effect Andromeda.
Huh.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, it sold a bunch, but it wasn't enough for EA.
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, no, we're shutting this shit down.
Go read all the visceral stuff if you want more in depth in the story on Dead Space 2.
I still need to read the Andromeda article, but it sounded like it was similar to Visceral's.
You could say millions for GTA 5 because we know Zelda's done 4 point something. What did you say? 4.7 for Zelda?
Yeah.
So yeah, you could easily say that GTA 5 has sold millions in this year.
Oh yeah. I just want to be like safe.
Sure.
You know?
But yeah, I mean, like that game's that's crazy.
So here the wrap up this segment. Here are the top 10 Nintendo Switch games for year to date.
Sure.
All right. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is number 1.
Year to date? Mm-hmm. No.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Not year to date. I got this wrong. This was the top 10 for September.
Okay.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Kyle.
Okay.
Yeah, as soon as I said, I was like, wait, how did that beat Zelda all of a sudden? That doesn't make sense. This top selling Switch exclusive or games on Switch. So we do have some numbers here, or we could figure out some numbers. These were the 10 best selling games with on Switch.
Okay.
So Switch versions would be here as well.
Great.
So something is not on here that was in the
no.
top 10. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle is number 1. Mario Kart 8 was number 2. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was 3.
Yeah.
Pokemon Tournament was 4. Splatoon was 5. So we already saw those in the top 20.
I'm shocked NBA hasn't been
those
said
top,
yet.
Yep. 6 is ARMS. 7 is Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
Whoa.
8 is FIFA 18.
Oh.
Which there was a FIFA thing. Remember everyone was saying, FIFA is not selling at all. But who knows what 8th best on Switch is. So
Sure.
that's interesting. 8 Lego Worlds and 10 Rayman Legends.
So no NBA.
So no NBA.
Wow.
No NBA on there.
Hasn't somebody said, though, that NPD doesn't actually
Yes.
track eShop?
It doesn't, and it's revenue only, so don't freak out about this. Like, this is not eShop sales numbers, so we don't know. But at the same time, it still then chart for physical units sold.
That's crazy.
So-
I'm surprised.
And that was clearly present in the top 10. It was one of the top 5 selling games of the month, revenue-wise. So there you go. I mean, Switch games aren't completely dominating software-wise, but they're still charting, and they're still doing pretty well. So, and, I think the jury is still out on some of the titles that are getting Switch versions, especially these earlier ones. And I don't think, even if they're not doing well, still not the best thing to just jump on and say, that's it, umbrella statement for all third-party Switch games. None of them are going to succeed on Switch. Like, too soon. too soon to jump to that conclusion.
We'll know after next month. We'll know after Doom and Skyrim.
Yeah, this November
really
has.
interesting because obviously the indie reaction has been very different, you know. But I wonder how much of that has to do with those lower price points. You know, like people pay another $10 or $20 for Stardew Valley on the go, but how many really want to pay $60 again for Doom? Which, I mean, from reactions to my previous skepticism, seems like there's actually at least a pretty vocal fan base that's like all down for that.
Yeah.
And Kyle made a point on a previous episode about community is a big thing about some of these, especially the sports games. We were talking about FIFA that episode.
Oh, yeah.
And why some people might not adopt the Switch version of FIFA because of the restrictive, like we weren't sure if who you could play with online.
Right.
Also, the thing about you can start a match with friends. Whereas, like, we're talking about November predictions and outlook, Rocket League, which you all predicted probably be the best-selling one because of its low price point, $19.99, but cross-platform play with Xbox One and PC.
That's enormous.
So that community argument's gone because you will be a part of mostly the core community and lower price point. So that's just like a perfect recipe there. So if Rocket League doesn't sell very well, I will be very shocked. I'm a little concerned actually because that one seems like the one right for this early batch. That one should, according to looking on paper, that should definitely be a hot seller.
Yeah.
But also, as you said, Blood, looking at the other ones, even though they're more fully priced or closer to full price games, like Doom, if Skyrim doesn't sell very well on Switch, I don't know if I'll be incredibly surprised, but I'll probably be mildly surprised. I feel like game sells well no matter what it's released on, so it should do okay for what their expectations are. LA Noire is the one I'm most worried about. Sure. I have a feeling LA Noire will not sell well on Switch.
I feel like the hype for that game is mostly past.
Yeah. So actually, I'm not scared for that because I think it won't do well on any platform, and so they won't be able to point and Switch and say like, "Oh, Rockstar games don't do well on the Switch," because I don't think that game's going to do well anywhere.
LA Noire?
Yeah.
It's ready to come out.
It's also coming out on PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Doom's another one I'll be most interested in because that is a game you never expected to see on Switch. Even though Doom does have it has a software has a history with Nintendo. They have made their games on their platforms before.
You see one of the lead designers like Doom 64. He's got that soft spot in his heart for it.
No, I didn't see that. That's cool.
Yeah, so they were really pumping that up on their Twitter feed and stuff.
Nice.
It's 20 years since Doom 64 came out. You'll be able to play Doom again on Switch because I think that was the last time that Doom was on a Nintendo platform.
Sure.
Oh, Doom. I'm gonna guess.
I don't remember there being a GBA port or anything weird like that.
Are you sure? There's no Game Boy Advance Doom?
I think there was something on a portable that wasn't there. I'm pretty sure.
I'll check that one. I'll look that one up.
Yeah.
Doom GBA. I'm on it.
Yeah. But speaking of Doom Switch, I'm very curious to see that will help inform me better as to expectations about what's happening because that to me that's a pretty high profile. That and Skyrim are the high profile ones. Yeah. Rocket League just on paper, as I said, makes sense. It should sell well just because of that. It's not gonna be the end of the world if it doesn't. It'll just be shocking. Whoa, they couldn't even get that to sell.
I am curious because Skyrim, we've seen a very clear effort to kind of appeal to Nintendo fans with the gear and things like that
the Link
from Zelda.
Outfit. Yeah,
I haven't seen anything. So as far as I know, they're not doing anything like that for Doom. But it would be interesting if there was some kind of extra Easter egg thrown in there, you see a Dry Bones walking around or something like that.
Yeah, I could see Nintendo greenlighting that. Yeah, sure, throw in a pair of Dry Bones, on the floor.
Or if you have a fire flower for a weapon or something.
Yeah, get a bazooka that shoots out Yoshi.
I wonder because it's M. I wonder if they'll get cute.
Yeah, I mean they have the Bayonetta stuff,
and Skyrim is M, is it not? So
I don't know if Skyrim's an M. For sure.
Yeah, I totally think you're right. It's not unprecedented. You're right. It's totally in Bayonetta.
What do you got first, Kyle?
Doom 1 and Doom 2 on Game Boy Advance.
Okay.
There you go.
Fun fact: Doom guy's face doesn't bleed on the Game Boy Advance version in the lower in the corner of the screen.
That's funny.
Or it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the screen.
Okay.
So yeah, so maybe that's why it's the example that came to my head, because I did sort of subconsciously remember that thing.
Yeah.
That is, that's going to wrap it up for our news section, our main topics for this episode, which brings us to our final segment, Patron's Pulse, where if you are a $5 and up patron, you can submit questions for us to possibly answer live on the episode. Generally pick about 2 questions for each of these segments. The post goes up usually every Sunday of the week that we are recording. Getting your question in at earliest doesn't have any bearing on that. I had someone ask me about that on Twitter. I just pick which questions seem the best for the episode, whether we've talked about the subject already or we're going to plan on talking about it. So, yeah, there isn't anything you can really necessarily do that'll guarantee your question will get picked. But, I do read all of them. I do go through all of them and decide which one is the best. So lots of good questions as always. And this week we got a lot. Originally, if you read the post, it said this was going to be a Q&A only episode. So I actually had 6 questions picked out. We do not have time for that. We're just going to go with 2 here. So I apologize to the 4 of the people who will not get asked. But to be fair, I'm not going to say what the 6 were. I'm just going to go with 2.
Gotta make the hard cuts.
Yeah,
I've
gotta make
been
the
there.
hard cuts.
Can I make a quick thing?
Sure.
Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, M for mature.
Nice.
Okay.
So yeah,
So it
Nintendo
is,
is not afraid to be associated with M for mature games.
All right. I'm honestly, just for the sake of time, I'm just gonna go with the first 2 I have on here because we're cutting it close. First one is from Austin Brackeen. Hey allies, with Nintendo coming out firing for the Switch's first year with Mario, Zelda, Splatoon, and Xenoblade, are they setting up for a disappointing 2018? Seems unlikely that Metroid Prime 4 and Pokemon Switch are 2018 games. What else might they have in store for 2018 that we don't know about?
Seems unlikely, huh?
Seems unlikely.
Seems-
I'm already on the
Unlikely.
record. I'm on the record saying Metroid's happening, and I think Pokemon Company promised Pokemon next year too.
Did they actually promise it? I know they said they're working on it.
They said next year. They said next year's Pokemon game will be on Switch.
Did they
Okay.
clarify that? I thought the original thing from the direct when it was first shown,
Yeah.
was that it was potentially a 2018, but it could take longer.
You think he said in that video it could take longer than
I
2018?
thought they clarified that
Oh,
point.
afterward.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't remember them clarifying that it's definitely 2018. I could be wrong.
but
But we already know too they're working on Fire Emblem,
yes,
Yes.
and
So-
Animal Crossing is probably
a lock.
close.
Yeah.
I think something said that their newest statement in that financial report was that the goal of mobile is to push people to switch to the console sales.
Yeah.
So Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, thank you. We'll definitely try and push people to Animal Crossing in some capacity. Yeah,
Sure.
for sure.
Also,
Yeah.
crazy that game came out in Australia the day it was announced.
Yeah, what's up?
A lot of games soft launch in Australia. Australia is
'Cause
known
they won't
for their
just-
mobile prowess.
Will they not destroy the servers? Is that why?
I think it's that. I think it's because it's an island. I honestly think they just consider it out there enough where it's a good testing ground. Because
Sorry.
I think Pokemon Go soft launched in Australia too.
I forget. Could be possible.
But my answer to that question is of course, no year can ever beat a year that has a new Mario and a new Zelda, especially these 2 Mario and Zeldas. But no, don't be worried about next year.
Yeah.
Is how I feel about it.
Okay.
Retro also has been working for a long time on who knows what,
Yeah.
Yep.
whether it's Donkey Kong or a new IP or whatever.
And-
So that's a real possibility. There's also real possibilities for some more DX games along
Yep.
the lines of Pokken and Mario Kart.
And maybe Smash Brothers.
There you go, Kyle.
Yeah, Smash
So
Brothers
that-
DX I think
Yeah.
is a very
Smash Brothers.
very real case.
Still got that. You got that Smash Brothers going.
I also think that along with that, there's probably a decent case for a Bayonetta DX, re-releasing that Bayonetta 2-pack.
Yeah, you're right. Platinum was teasing stuff with Switch, and then we totally forgot about that.
I feel like a new Platinum game on Switch, period,
Yeah.
will
Sure.
be a good thing.
But I also
Yeah.
think that there is quite a bit of investment into Bayonetta 2. that again, like if you want to get your money back, like let's just put this out on another platform where everything is selling really well.
Yeah.
Bayonetta trilogy.
Yeah,
Ooh, trilogy.
could be.
Putting that third game in there with Bayonetta 1 and Bayonetta 2. Gonna happen. I do think that there could be a surprise, one or two surprises from third parties. We already had Mario and Rabbit plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Who knows what else Nintendo has cooking with a third party, partner of theirs.
Yeah. We were talking at lunch that Tekken is a fairly likely partner.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Dragon Ball Xenoverse did okay. You know what I mean? Xenoverse 2 on Switch. So, yeah, I mean, Bandai Namco's probably stoked on the platform.
We still are waiting for the Switch version of Dragon Quest XI, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well, we're waiting for that.
we're waiting for a U.S. version at all.
Yeah, we're waiting for
But chances are,
everyone's waiting for
chances are that by the time it comes to the U.S., like that Switch version will be ready as well. Like we'll probably get a full multi-platform release here.
Yeah.
I think there'll be at least one or two good surprises from third parties in 2018.
Well,
So I think it's just there isn't a known quantity just yet. There's a few things you can point to, like said, Fire Emblem, some other stuff that possibly could be next year, but just give it time. Like we're still in 2017. We're still like just on the week after Mario has just come out. We still got Xenoblade this year, so it's like I think I get why people are thinking about this. Like, did Nintendo just like did they like popped all their cooldowns immediately and they have like nothing left? 2018 is gonna be like, what do you got, Nintendo? What do you got, Nintendo?
Yeah.
But
no, we'll have a meaty January Nintendo Direct for sure.
Ooh, yeah.
Get those first 3 months announced.
But I do think that we'll always look back at this first year fondly. I think this year will stand out.
Oh yeah.
There's something magical to Mario that probably won't be repeated for the rest of the consoles generation.
But I do think that there's something to be said for Nintendo pacing it so that there's always a first-party release of some significant, like every 6 weeks or so. If they can keep their schedule along those lines, that would be great.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's something we should state constantly. It's just that Nintendo is really strong now that their mobile and console teams are all one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're still seeing some 3DS games pumped out, but that's going to fade quickly, and then they're going to have twice as many games on this Switch platform as either the 3DS or Wii U had.
It's going to be, not just for Nintendo, I think in general, it's going to be hard to compare, not compare, but it's going to be hard to not look back on 2017 and be like, holy crap, look how many good games came out this year.
Yeah.
It's just a very special, unique year, and
every
year can't be that.
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler, that demo is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's definitely stuff that you can look forward to on Switch, and just be patient. Just a little bit of patience. Don't think of the worst case scenario just yet. They haven't given you a reason to jump to that conclusion. And then our last question today is going to be from David. Do you guys think Nintendo's 3D output has surpassed their 2D stuff?
Ooh.
For a long time, I believe their best games were Super Mario World, A Link to the Past, and Super Metroid. Now, my favorite game in each of those franchises are Galaxy 2, Breath of the Wild, and Prime, which is probably tied with Super Metroid for my favorite Metroid game.
Yeah.
So, especially now that we've gone through this year, we just talked about this banner year for Switch. Do you think Nintendo's 3D games have, what they're putting out in the last few years, have surpassed the best of the best from their 2D efforts early on?
It's tough, man. It's tough because there were 10 years of 2D games, and now we're 20 plus of 3D. Sure. Man.
I mean, there's still 2D games being made.
Yeah.
Not as frequently though, obviously.
But Tropical Freeze.
Yeah.
Tropical Freeze makes a case, Damiani.
So that's a side-scrolling game? Are we going to say 2D as in a style of game?
I almost think the question is more really interested in timeline.
Yeah, I think I get it. They're trying is Nintendo's output from the 80s comparing Nintendo's output from the 80s and 90s pre N64 era basically to everything since,
right?
Which is the better lineup, which produced the best games from that pool. So it's basically and SNES and NES and the handheld systems versus N64 onward, which is a little unfair.
Well, here's the thing: is it'd be hard for me to look at N64 or GameCube or Wii or Wii U or Switch and say this is superior to SNES. But you look at them collectively, and I think you could easily say it. I think you could easily say that everything post SNES is as accumulated to be greater than. And I mean, I agree with most of those picks. I would put Ocarina of Time over A Link to the Past. I'd put Metroid Prime over or Super Metroid.
I wouldn't.
I know. We've had this debate.
Yeah.
I would absolutely.
Metroid Prime to me gets bogged down. It gets
So
bogged
does
down.
Super Metroid.
You know,
Super Metroid gets bogged down.
It never gets bogged
The
down.
whole game is boggy. It's a boggy game.
I have to break you two up here. Stefan, break it up.
You've never sitting around reading lore entries in Metroid, Super Metroid.
Yeah, you're just shooting cubes. You're just shooting cubes the whole time.
I think a good point. I think this is a good point that I would like to make is that I like to believe that Nintendo's those games from that time period, the 2D games as our patron submitted, though I think Nintendo almost perfected those games. They did as much as they could probably do with those. I'm sure they can come out with some creativity if they went back to making just 2D games again. But they did such wonders within that within this two dimensions that moving on to the third dimension, there were just more challenges for them that they've worked at getting better at and better at and better as we've seen over time. So, and they're obviously more complicated games. So I feel like they did a really amazing job with 2D. There's no reason to go necessarily back to that. I would love to see more games in that style because I personally love 2D games, especially 2D Nintendo games.
Where do you stand with The Link Between Worlds?
Like I really like that.
Okay. Cool.
So I would definitely like to see more of that. Like, I mean, in general, I just want to see more good games from Nintendo. I think that's like the best thing you can say about it. But I would say like they clearly moved on for a reason, not because technology demanded it, not because consumers demanded it, but because look at all they have so many great 2D games that we've all seen. Look at SNES Classic and how many of those are first party games. It's pretty good. Like they did a pretty good job with their biggest IPs in the second dimension. They're all classics. That's why they're so revered and why we constantly see them referenced and compared to. Like it's time to move on. Like, you know, let's see what they can do in third dimension. But you know, it gets harder and harder, I think, to be creative and innovate, even in like 3D games or 2.5D games as they're doing now as well. It's tough, you know, and the fact that Nintendo can keep doing that is. Oh, it's always surprising and it's a good feeling when you play a new Nintendo game and you're like, no, it's gonna be more of the same. It's gonna be good, but it's gonna be the same. And you play and you're like, oh, it wasn't more of the same. They did different. How did they do that? I don't know. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But I think. But to answer the question, because I beat around the bush.
Which one's better? Which one's better?
I have to say at this point, like the cumulative efforts of the collective efforts of the 3D games that they've made are probably better than the collective efforts of their 2D. Though I think none of those could have existed without what they did. I want to stress that point that it's sitting on the top of shoulders of some big giants there.
Yeah.
But there's just so many good 3D Nintendo games that have been made in the past 2 decades. I can't overlook that volume. It's quality and volume.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
Blood, did you pick?
I didn't realize we were like specifically picking.
You got to pick. You got to go on.
I want to know the answer.
Which one's better?
So 3D altogether over 2D.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just comes down to volume. There are just fewer 2D games to identify. Yeah, because like Link to the Past, like that was the first time they like got away from all of those NES limitations, and then they just didn't go further down that road. You know, like it would be interesting to see. I mean, they did Link Between Worlds, but I feel like Link Between Worlds was in some ways keeping itself closer to the old style while also like it was weird. You know, like it wasn't like completely blank slate because they were going off of A Link to the Past. You know?
Yeah, I mean, Four Swords Adventures does some things.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Four Swords Adventures.
Yeah, blah, blah. Not my canon.
No, you're canon.
It would be interesting to see like somebody in the Nintendo Power they brought up Wario Land Shake It. It would be interesting to see a Mario game that looked like that. That looked like cell animation.
Yeah.
What they would do.
Oh
with
yeah.
It. Well, I mean, I guess they have Paper Mario.
Super Paper Mario.
Yeah, like what I just want to point out real quick, like what Cuphead did visually. Like
Sure.
that level of fidelity and reaching an aesthetic like that.
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't want Mario to look like Cuphead literally, but like I'd love to see a Mario game realize like a cartoonish aesthetic that you like. It looks like, wow, I'm not playing a video game.
But it's so funny. It's hard for me to imagine even Nintendo rationalizing that budget in time.
Oh yeah.
I think they wouldn't. I just think they would never hand animate a game like
It's
that.
a pretty
Yeah,
high
I mean
budget,
that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like it would probably have to be something more along the lines of Ori in terms of the way it's designed, to where it looks more 2D, but it really isn't. It isn't hand drawn or something like that.
Or they come up
There's
with
so many
those-
limitations that you run into doing a game that way.
Yeah, Nintendo's been good at coming up with those creative art styles, like the Yarn Yoshi Kirby like style, like this looks great. It's 2D, it's side scrolling, but obviously it works because like they kind of found like a quote unquote filter to look that their system could realize and make it work well.
Yeah.
Versus doing like 2D sprite hand animation. It's like it's a little harder, more expensive. This is easier to do. I don't know. I am assuming it was easier to do the Yarn Kirby's Epic Yarn and Yarn Yoshi's visuals than doing an actual sprite-based new game.
But I'm saying is like even Cuphead is even like another level beyond sprite.
Oh
based.
yeah. Oh yeah. Cuphead's
Extremely
that's
expensive.
like the budget for that's like gotta be, and the time it would take is just intense.
Yeah.
I get your point. So there you have it. Thank you for those questions, everyone. Again, $5 patrons. You can submit those questions every other week. Look out for that Patron post when it goes up. I want to thank you again for joining me, Mr. Bosman, Mr. Bloodworth. And we have our trademark saying that we're all going to say for you as we sign off here. And on the...
I think I know it.
You know
Well,
it.
Let me test it right now, just before we go.
Okay. Kyle wasn't sure. We had a false start here.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. Got it.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
May the way of the hero lead to the Triforce.